Hey everybody, Bobby here, and today we'll be taking a look at the rest of the Savage World figures. So if you know previously, I had taken a look at the Freddy Krueger and the Jason Voorhees of this line, but I didn't pick up these three mainly because Big Bad Toy Store kept keeping them on pre-order for a lot longer than they should have. And I eventually canceled them, and I kind of forgot about them really. And then I saw them kind of discounted on Amazon, and I picked them up, and they would have been a lot cheaper than they would have been on Big Bad. So I'm like, I need to finish the review off anyway, so why not? So, and these were kind of like my, not my first, but one of my very first figures I reviewed. So, gotta get it done somehow. So, with the Jason and the Freddy, I showed off the boxes. I do not have the boxes for these guys. Getting these open, it destroys the box when you open these. So I just straight opened them, and that's it. The only differences between the boxes are it has the franchise and the character's name on the top, and that's the difference. So if you watched my previous reviews, you know what the box looks like. So yeah, the box isn't all that special. So we'll talk about Michael real quick since he'll be quicker. He comes with two accessories. They're the same sculpt. They're dull kitchen knives. So, and that's just one of the complaints I have from Michael. Jason has these cool weapons that are made of bone, very barbarian looking. But Michael is just dull kitchen knives. Just not really creative. Yeah, they're dull, they're not really sharp, but they should have had something like, they have like a bone to them or something like that. No, they're just kitchen knives, they just threw in. Michael's outfit doesn't even really look that neat either. I mean, Michael Myers is probably not the best person for this line. I think he's the worst figure of this series, if I'm being honest. Freddy, he looks like a warlock type of character with his hood and everything. They really went all out and unique with him. Myers, I don't know. He's wearing the Michael Myers head, and he's wearing a sleeveless shirt like everybody else is, except for Pinhead. And he's got like this skirt thing with a belt. Yeah, it just doesn't work for me. I don't know. It just looks like he's like wearing like a leather type of skirt thing. And blue pants, blue boots that aren't even... They're just boots. They're not like with that little fur effect that all the other ones have. All of them do. But Michael doesn't. So I don't know. I think Michael shouldn't have been in this line. I think maybe Ash from Evil Dead would have been better to do. I think he could have worked. But I don't know. Michael Myers just doesn't work. I think they could have done a little bit better with him. But that being said, his sculpt isn't terrible. I mean, yeah, it's got like spiky looking hair in the back, all combed back. Head, I don't know, it's got some scarring there. The top, he's got blackened eyes. It's alright. He's got like these weird armbands, but for the most part, it's just got this tan, well, not tan, but this pale white skin tone in the neck and in the arms. He's got like this sewn leathery looking shirt with this skirt bottom, kilt, whatever, at the bottom of it with the belt. I do like the stitching sculpt of it. It does look different. I don't know about this, but I think, since Michael has a jumpsuit, I think they should have kept that, incorporated with that. And maybe if they're going to do something like this, maybe kind of like do it with Jason and keep giving like some shorts that are the same color as this. That way, it looks more like his jumpsuit. And keep this as a skin color. And I don't know what's up with this weird same color band here. I don't know what's up with that. I feel that this was all supposed to be skin tone, and this was supposed to be the blue thing around it. I don't know. It just doesn't look... It looks weird. And then his boots are completely different from everybody else's. Everybody has like this weird furry effect on the top. Even Pinhead. But Michael doesn't. But it is got like this stitched at the back look. And at the front. So it's unique-ish, I guess, from the other ones. But I don't know. I think he's like the worst. He's not the worst out of the line as in uniqueness, because I think that goes to Pinhead. Pinhead just looks like they ripped him out of the movie and made him more like a He-Man figure. Michael has some unique aspects to him, but I don't think Michael is unique enough to be in this line, just because I think they could have done more with him, especially with his accessories. And like Jason, he cannot hold his weapons correctly. They're going to be a little loose. In this hand, he holds it a little bit tighter, so it's not going to fall out. But if you put it in this hand, yeah, it's gonna fall out. Well, no, it did earlier. Well, there it goes. I guess there's a way you can finagle it in there. It's not gonna. Well, there. So, like I said, they are very loose-fitting accessories, just like everything else. So, I'm going to keep dropping these guys. So, getting into Pinhead, I think he's probably the less... Here's the thing. I think he's probably one of the worst ones in this set, because each one of these guys are pretty unique. My favorite being Jason, of course. Right? He looks barbarian looking, zombified, really interesting. Freddy looks like a warlock kind of character. Leatherface, he's got his own unique design too. He's got attachable limbs that are weapons. Even Michael looks strangely unique-ish. I mean, he's probably my second least favorite character in this line. Well, figure in this line. So, I don't know. Pinhead just looks like he's straight from the movie. Going from the top to the bottom. The top looks like Pinhead. If he had like a cloak thing to the bottom, it'd be full Pinhead. But instead he's got this skirt thing and legs showing. So, yeah. That's the only uniqueness about him. But I won't be nitpicky about it anymore. I'll just get into his sculpt. I'll use one of the accessories to show it off. I like how he's got like this goop dripping down from his chest. I know it's blood, but it looks like, you know, that toy effect you would see in these kind of toys like the Ninja Turtles and whatever. So I like how it's cartoony looking. So that's nice. You know, he's got like this weird texture right here. It's really cool. It's got a good sculpt. I'm not saying it's a bad figure. If you like Pinhead, pick this up, I guess. But I'm not the biggest fan of Hellraiser, so I couldn't really tell you what most of this stuff is that has anything to do with him. When you're moving his head, here's another nitpick. His nails or pins are very... This is already starting to come off right here. So be careful. You don't want to press hard on his head when you're moving it around. But you kind of have to because it's kind of hard to move it. So grab right here by the ears and on the forehead to turn it. Because you put pressure on these nails, it'll start loosening it up and it can snap off. And you don't want to do that to your figure. Just be careful. I don't know if that showed up on camera good, but just grab here and the forehead and turn. Because right in there is where it's starting to get loose out of mine. So be careful with yours. Going into his accessories, he has like this long bladed knife that's this long bladed knife. I don't really know what you call this rigid blade. And it's got a wooden handle, black, with these rivets in it. Looks like it's made out of wood. There's a little bitty hook there. I don't know why that's there. He's got the same handle on this blade, but this is more like a hook. So, but it's also rigid. That's cool. Good paint. I will say, this is probably the plus to this figure. He can actually hold his accessories great. Well, not great, but good. His weapons, they have a tight enough fit to where they're not going to be loose. So I'll start, shaking around, and it's not going to come out. So it's good. I think they did a good job with that. Because with Myers is the worst one to hold his weapons, because they'll fall out pretty easy. Jason, they're not going to fall out, but his is probably... I think Jason's weapons are a little... I don't like how they're just like shaking around there. You can't get them to hold them looking good. So that's my complaint. But Pinhead, he can hold them decent. They're not too tight to where it's gonna be hard to pull them out, but they're also not too loose to where they're gonna fall out. So that's good. So his last accessory is his puzzle box. Same design on this side to this side. Same design on that side to this side. And there's only one pattern on this side because the other one is hollow. It looks like you can peg it in to where it looks like it had a bottom to it at some point. But I don't know. I guess it doesn't. If there is a bottom to it, then I guess I never got it. Whatever, don't really matter because he can hold it. I think that's why it's hollow down back there, so he can hold it. And it does look like, he's holding it. So it works. Going into Leatherface is probably my third favorite figure in this line. Now, I have two complaints with this guy. His head looks terrible. I don't like his head. It doesn't look as detailed as Jason or Freddy's. It just looks very cheapy looking to me. I don't know. It's just the way the paint is. The sculpt's fine. It's just the paint just doesn't look right on it. Just to me. I don't know. But, it's okay. He's got a good sculpt. He's got this cool looking chain around him with the meat hook. I think they should incorporate something like this to Pinhead, since his movies has the chains coming in and ripping people apart. They should incorporate something like that to him to make his character look more unique, but they didn't. Another thing I like is his character. This is pretty much what an Ash figure in this line would have been, but they didn't do Ash. He's got, his hand. He's missing a hand, and you can plug in his mallet or his saw blade into it. And I like how the chainsaw looks. It's not a chainsaw. It's like a regular saw. It's got the chainsaw circle thing right there. So that's cool, but it's shaped like it's a sword. So that's really cool. You can peg it in, and there goes Pinhead. You can peg it in, and it obviously, I assumed it was going to add more articulation to this figure as a swivel, but it actually is a ball joint, so I'm surprised by that. I thought it was just going to be pegged in, how's that? But no, goes up, goes down, tilts all around. Pretty neat. And, the blades, they're not like they're sharp, but they're not going to cut you, but they are a little pokey. So, be careful with that. Pulling it out is probably the hardest thing to do with this figure. There we go. This is the second problem I have. The third problem, there's a third one, is that this is very loose. It's not really an issue, but the reason why, pulling this out, you can pull this. Don't try and pull the rest out. This one is easy because it's a softer plastic right here, so he can have his little cooking. God dang it! I can't even remember the name. I am like brain farting it over here. Whatever. Oh God. But this is a softer plastic. Well, I say softer plastic. It's softer plastic than this because this is a hard plastic. This is a more squishy, not squishy, but stretchable kind of plastic. So it's a little bit easier to pull on and off, which is why it's looser. So that's an issue with me. The third is they didn't glue this. what I mean by that is the ball joint connected to the hand, no glue to connect it. It popped out when I put this mallet in. So when I pulled this off, the peg came out and got stuck in there to pull, and then when I tried to pull that out, the stick came out of this, and when I tried to put it back on, that happened. It's not broken. I had to glue it all back together, and I haven't glued this back yet, but just saying, that was an issue, but it's resolved somewhat now. So it's not really a big issue, but just when you get this guy, if you decide to, yours may not be as attached as mine was, so you might have to glue it in place a little bit. Some assembly is required. So I already talked about, he's got the ball joint arm here. Going into articulation, we'll just do Michael. The standard is, head swivels all the way around, arm goes all the way around, waist goes all the way around, legs are on a ball joint, so they go out about that much and about that much, goes all the way around. They're all standard little ball joints. Getting these guys to stand so I can get the rest of the line in the shot. That's the issue I have with some of these. They don't like to stand that well. So, as a whole line together, the Savage World Horror line, it's alright. These three, I think, are the most unique out of the line, and I like them because of that. These two, not so much. I think they could have done better with Michael and Pinhead, but, But altogether, is this worth a pickup? Well, if you like me, I like weird stuff and amalgamation type of stuff like this, then sure, why not? These are expensive, so if you see them in store, these have been out for a while as of this review, but the last one on these guys is when they first came out. I've still seen them at GameStops and Targets, so if it's something that you're interested in, say, oh yeah, see that, then yeah, I say it's worth picking up just for the novelty of these items, but I don't know. I think like I said, this whole line is based off of He-Man, and seeing these guys, I assume this whole line was going to be more horror characters in the style of He-Man, but these, especially Pinhead, it just seems like they kind of maybe jumped the shark a little bit. I don't know. It just seems that they could have done better. And I've seen they're doing Street Fighter now, which looks good, and they did Mortal Kombat, and they stayed the same as their original characters, and that's okay. I don't care. Get them. I did the DC Primal Age, which is like these. They are DC superhero characters in the He-Man style. Those look cool. Nothing I'm probably going to get, but these, it was in those styles. So they're still doing figures like this, and that's cool to see. I don't think they're doing a second wave of these. So if you're wanting like a Chucky or an Ash or I don't know, a Sam from Trick or Treat or Ghostface or whatever, I don't think you're going to get it. And I think these figures are enough. Yeah, it would have been nice if we could have at least gotten an Ash, but I think that's the only other one I would have probably liked to see. But yeah, I'm just gonna rate these guys as the whole entire line. Out of these guys, Leatherface, he's pretty good. I give Leatherface a out of 10. I give Jason a 10 out of 10. Freddy a 9 out of 10. Michael 5 out of 10. Pinhead 4 out of 10. But as the entire line together, I'm going to give it a 6. I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. Alright, so I'm going to head on out of here, and I'm going to try and get some more figures to review. In the meantime, I will see you guys in the next video. Bobby, out.